Every single person in here has got their gold medal dreams. I'm lucky that mine's quite tangible because it's on a bit of the end of a ribbon. It's just a bit of metal on the end of a ribbon. In Beijing in 2008, when I finally won the gold medal, I touched the wall and I turned to see the board. My biggest feeling was relief, because my whole life, from the moment I decided I wanted to be a swimmer, was geared towards that and achieving that. And I was very aware that as much as I wanted it and whatever I did, there's another 7 girls in the race that are all as good as I am. And it all comes down to that one race and that one moment in time. And 1 minute and 41 seconds defined the rest of my life, I guess. And even though it's not the gold medal that defines your career and all of the things you get out of it, once you've got that gold medal, no one can ever take it away from you. I think my biggest motivation when I was training was the fact that, firstly, I loved to win, and I wasn't someone who was talented enough to just turn up at the blocks and race, so I had to train in order to be able to race fast. But my career spanned quite a long time, and there was a lot of highs and lows in it, and it was always the disappointments and the close shaves and just missing out. They were always my motivation for trying to train harder and swim faster next time. I think the great thing that I always loved about swimming was it was measured in time. So you didn't have to rely on anybody else's subjectivity thinking you were good enough. If you did a time that qualified you for a squad, you got in. And so even as a youngster, like when I was 10, I went to my first national championships and I got selected for a smaller regional national squad, which was for cerebral palsy sports specifically, but it meant that I knew I'd been recognised. Throughout my career, there were a range of different challenges at different points in my life. And at first, it was getting people to understand that even though I had a disability, I wanted to be an elite athlete and I could train like everybody else, and I was as smart as everybody else, so I understood the processes like everybody else did. So that was my first biggest challenge. But then as I got older, it came down to logistical challenges like where I was going to go to school and where I was going to go to university and travelling. And for me, probably the biggest challenge was, in fact, when I was doing my A-levels and I was having to travel. I was travelling 1,000 miles a week and I was driving myself. So that time management and that motivation, that all needed to be driven by me. My impairment was minimised by the amount of training I did because I was mobilising myself. So actually, I was getting more from training 30 hours a week than the NHS were ever going to be able to do for me, and they even said that. I think the Paralympics is brilliant for raising people's awareness of disabilities and what people can achieve, but I think it can sometimes pigeonhole it to being disabled people in sport, and actually there's more to life than sport sometimes, and not all disabled people want to be Paralympians. So I think there's always more to be done, and the best way to do it is to keep disabled people in the limelight and out there in front of people, and a range of impairments, because obviously there's a lot of disabilities that are recognisable. So if you're in a wheelchair, or if you've got a limb missing, or you've got a guide dog, then they're the disabilities that people expect to see, but it's the hidden ones and the more challenging ones that I think need explaining. So I'm still involved in the sports sphere, largely as an athlete mentor to younger pupils at schools, but not necessarily elite athletes, just people who love sport or who want to get more engaged in sport.